Blueberry pie cookie, is she good and should you summon for her? Well, you don't have to worry about that because I pulled her, I tested her, I leveled her up just to tell you guys today that answer. So we're gonna hop into everything good and bad about Blueberry cookie, areas where they excel at and areas where they really suck at. So let's go ahead and hop into it right now, guys, but let's go ahead and talk about this skill first so we can get a basic premise of how this cookie works. Blueberry cookie summons an evil spirit and deals damage to the enemies and inflict them with the greed of the tone debuff. This skill is also going to heal Blueberry pie cookie's HP and increase her damage resist. The tome will gain stacks of greed whenever the target is inflicted with damage or if he's incapacitated. Once the tome gets enough stacks, he'll do an additional attack which increases the attack of Blueberry pie and deals damage to the enemies. Blueberry pie also becomes resistant to interrupting effects, and this damage is going to be relative to max HP capped at 300,000. Now on the surface, the skill ability looks really good, but the scalings are here, so we're going to go ahead and talk about those now to get an actual grasp of what this ability can do. Magic tome damage is going to be 235% of attack. Healing is going to be 115% of attack. Damage resist is going to be 25% for 12 seconds. Whenever a target becomes incapacitated, it receives a stack of greed, gaining debuffs amplified by 10% for 15 seconds. This also is going to stack up to one time and cannot be dispelled, meaning that all other debuffs that attack this cookie will be amplified and it cannot be removed from monocle or herb. Greed, sealed powers triggers upon 7 stacks. Cookies for 1.5 seconds, hits up to 6. Single hit damage 152.7% plus 95% true damage relative to HP. Others for 1.5 seconds, hits up to 6. Single hit damage 31%. And then finally, the attack is going to increase for 25% for 3 seconds. Now looking at the skill, I can already tell off a rip that this cookie is not going to be very good for most PvE stuff, in particular like guild bosses and stuff like that, just for the fact they don't really hit much damage with that secondary blast against those targets. But for PvP, I think it could be good because of the extra damage that this cookie does against other cookies. And for the purpose of testing in today's video, guys, we use full swift chocolates with a focus on damage resist and cooldown having at least 20% cooldown and 25% damage resist. Whoa, but before we get into Blueberry Pie's testing, make sure you slap that subscribe button like Blueberry Pie is gonna slap your summons if you don't. For every one of those 90% of people that aren't subscribed to the channel, that's one less Blueberry Pie cookie that someone's gonna pull. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so more people that are subscribed are pulling Blueberry Pie cookie. Anyways, let's go ahead and get back to the testing. So let's go ahead and start off with some of the major cons first, and then we'll talk about all the pros this cookie has. So for Guild Boss, this is obviously not gonna be good against the Avatar of Destiny because the Avatar of Destiny doesn't need any debuffs because you take more damage when the Avatar of Destiny receives more debuffs. Also against the Red Velvet Dragon, that damage reflect will destroy Blueberry Pie cookie, so not really recommended for use there. So that leaves us with one option, the Living Abyss, because the little monsters can take that debuff, right? And while that may be right, there is one major problem that I found while testing this cookie against the Living Abyss, and I'm going to show you guys that now. And this problem actually comes in the form of a slow. As you can see right now, Blueberry Pie is not using their ability because they're too slow to actually activate their ability right now because they're still in the middle of shooting that laser beam at the Living Abyss boss, so they can't activate their ability to get any type of self-sustain back or really anything like that. So it's just kind of down bad for the Living Abyss for this reason, just because of the slow. It keeps shooting the laser beam out, and she doesn't actually have time to use her ability again. So yeah, down bad for that. I wouldn't recommend using for guild bosses. Also, another con for this cookie is how squishy they are, but this comes with the territory of really any magic based cookie unless they can evade like Moonlight cookie can. But with that being said, I do think their best spot right now in the game is Arena because they actually do really good damage for Arena. They also give themselves some extra damage resist as well while they're in the arena. That's why I went to around this 20% cooldown threshold. On top of that, that's why I went with around 25% damage resist. Now this cookie is kind of hard to build, but if you can build it, I think it'll do absolutely massive work for your team. Now, just as a small disclaimer, my cookies are not level 75 yet while doing this testing, so you're just going to deal with my level 70 copium for right now. But hopping into an arena match right here, guys, we're facing Erica cookie using obviously Blueberry Pie cookie, just to see how much damage the Blueberry Pie cookie can do. Now, the main damage from Blueberry Pie does come from this laser beam, so you do need as many stacks of that debuff as possible so you can keep shooting that laser beam out, because the base attack really doesn't do too much damage. It's really that extra laser beam they do at the end that does the most damage. Now, keep in mind, like I said, they are squishy. This extra damage risk can help them out with all these shields. They probably won't die as often, but it comes with the territory. If the enemy does get a lucky crit in, or if they can get a good shot in on you, you probably will die in about one shot, but the battle is over now. We did win. Let's go ahead and take a look at Blueberry Pie Cookie's damage. So looking here at the damage, Blueberry Pie Cookie did 4.8 million damage, just right under my 2-star Moonlight Cookie that did 6 million damage. This is actually pretty good damage coming from a 1-star level 70 cookie right now with only a level 60 skill, not even level 70 skill, so pretty good right now with this team. And finally, one more decent application that I found for Blueberry Pie Cookie is actually going to be Cookie Alliance. I made it to around wave 60 today with Blueberry Pie Cookie instead of using my normal Squid Ink Cookie, and it seemed to do pretty well. So guys, if I were to give a rating to Blueberry Pie Cookie, I would probably give her a 7 out of 10. I would say she is good for Arena. She is decent for Cookie Alliance, but she's not good for Guild Boss, which kind of brings that down to that 7 out of 10 marker. I think she is good cookie. She's not a great cookie just because you can't use her on every team for Arena. I do think there's still kind of better options in Cookie Alliance if you have them, but overall I think this cookie is pretty solid. Now, rounding back to that question we first asked, should you summon? I think you should summon. I think this cookie can help you out a lot in Alliance, and I think it can help you out a lot in PvP as well as some other applications during the story and stuff like that. So yeah, I think you should throw your gems at this cookie. I think that this is a more well-rounded cookie than Milky Way was. But yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on this cookie. Tell me what your guys' thoughts are in the comments below. That's gonna do it for today's video. Hope everyone enjoyed, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It would really help the channel out. Anyways, that's gonna do it. I'll catch you guys in the next one later. Bye-bye.